Please be on page 30B, and I am going to go over how to graph an absolute value function. First of all, this is called the vertex form of an absolute value function. It's called the vertex form because h, k is the vertex. So notice, whatever number is being added or subtracted to the x inside the absolute value bars, the opposite of it will be your x value. And whatever is being added or subtracted outside the absolute value bars will be the y value of your vertex. The a tells you the rise over the run. Okay, so we will start with an example. So y equals 3 times the absolute value of x minus 4 plus 2. So my vertex is going to be the opposite of what I see inside here, and I see a negative 4. So the vertex is going to be 4, 2. So this is where I get the 4, this is where I get the 2. The 2 here is positive, as is this 2. The 2 here is negative, this is positive. So that means I go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, and that's my vertex. I know an absolute value is a v. So I know this is going to be a v. I also know the 3 is positive, so my v is going to face upward. If the 3 was negative, it would face downward. I rise 1, 2, 3, and I go over 1 in this direction and over 1 in this direction. I do it again. 1, 2, 3, over 1, 1, 2, 3, over 1. And this is what my absolute value function looks like. So it is a v. This happens to be a vertical stretch. It's a stretch because the absolute value of a is greater than 1. So that's consistent with our linear equations when if the absolute value of the slope was greater than 1, it was a stretch. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so down at the bottom you have number 1, y equals 3/4. Oops. Absolute value x plus 1 minus 2. First I find the vertex. The vertex is the opposite of what I see there, so negative 1, negative 2. So the negative 2 goes there, the opposite of 1 goes there, and that is my vertex. So I go negative 1, negative 2. This is my vertex. Now it's going to face upward, the v, because a is positive. Now a is 3 over 4, which is my rise over my run. The absolute value of a, or the absolute value of 3/4, is less than 1. So this is going to be a vertical shrink. So I go up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's get rid of this. I go up 1, 2, 3 again over 1, 2, 3, 4. I go, let's get rid of that. I go up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice this is much wider, so it is a shrink. Okay, now let's look at the last one. Okay, the last one says y equals negative 2 times the absolute value x minus 3 minus 1. Once again, we start with the vertex. The vertex is 3, because I do the opposite there, negative 1. So I go to 3, negative 1, that's my vertex. Now, a is negative. A being negative means it's going to face downward. So I rise -2 and I run 1 from the vertex. So I go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. This, okay, so as far as the types of transformations, because the 2 is negative, this is a reflection. Because my vertex moved 3 to the right, down 1, this is a translation. Whenever your vertex is not 0, 0, it's a translation. And because the absolute value of A is greater than 1, this is a vertical stretch. Okay? So now, let's turn to page 29. And let's practice getting the vertex. So, number 1 was y equals the absolute value of x minus 2 plus 3. So I want you to try to figure out that vertex. I do the opposite of -2, which is 2, and then 3. So that vertex is 2, 3. Y equals the absolute value of x plus 5 minus 2. So that vertex is -5, -2. The opposite of x, and then what's there? Number 3. Y equals the absolute value of x minus 3 minus 4. So that vertex is 3, -4. And number 4, y equals the absolute value of x plus 2 minus 1. Think about what it should be. And the vertex is -2, -1. Okay, now let's look at the bottom part, and we're going to figure out what type of transformations are occurring. In number 1, y equals 2 times the absolute value of x. So this vertex is 0, 0, because this is the same as x plus 0 plus 0. So 0, 0 is our vertex. A is greater than 1. So this would be a vertical stretch. In number 2, A is 1/2. So again, the vertex would be 0, 0, but this would be a vertical shrink because A, the absolute value of A, is less than 1. Number 3 would be a reflection because A is negative. This means when I graph it, it's going to be an upside down V, and it's going to be a stretch. These were all from page 29. Okay, so let's do one more on page 30C. So turn to page 30C. And we will do y equals -2 times the absolute value of x plus 1 minus 3. My vertex is going to be -1, -3. First thing I do is I go to -1, -3. Then, since this is negative, I know I'm going to go down. So, I rise -2 over 1. Go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And this is my graph. So I find the vertex and I follow the rise and the run of A. Okay, that's the end of the video.